another episode.
I don't know how to do it.
The Straight Talk Sports Podcast. It's your boy Riz.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Fella on the car phone. This is Straight Talk Podcast with Fella and Rev. How you doing today, Rev?
I'm good, man.
What? That's my line. You can't take my line.
It's just funny because I did it and you said, no, let me do it.
I'm doing it. we gonna smooth over that like you ain't doing it.
He ain't did that.
Nah, I mean, that's my line. That's like, you stealing my lines now? Was you trying to get pay more money?
I'm trying to get a little raise, bro. I need to pay these bills.
Yeah, I feel that. But anyway, man, it's time to get the show on the road.
Let's start the show.
But you know how we do it always. Woo-hoo. Question of the day. Of course, this is a segment where I ask Rev to the left of me a question and grade him on his answer, okay? So the grades are completely subjective. We've been having a little issues with these grades recently, so I'm just making it clear. Once again, completely subjective. And I had to say to him over the week, I don't give a damn if you don't like the grade because it's my grade.
Subjective means even if it's some bullshit, he gets to choose. I could be right as 2 right feet.
Exactly.
Josh is gonna say, "No, I left, my brother." So
goddamn right.
I'm gonna just have to suck it up.
Grade is the grade again. So
it's annoying.
So yeah, I mean, if you just I don't want to say it, so never mind. So don't be mad about my grades. Don't be mad about my grades. Take my grades. Okay? You could be, like you said, right, and you still gonna be wrong. Or you be knowing what I want to hear half the time. You can just take your L. If you want a good grade so bad, you know how to get a good grade. That's the lesson of the day. If you know what you gotta do to make your grade, you better swallow your pride and make the grade.
No, I didn't say. Ask your question. Bro.
All right.
Ask your question.
So I seen shout out to Sideline Sources on Instagram, but they posted. This was today. They posted a bunch of potential trades on their Instagram page. If you don't follow Sideline Sources, follow them if you like to. If you're into sports and stuff, they post a lot of different content: baseball, basketball, football, and they always seem to it's just really interactive and informative. So, but they posted a couple potential trades that could be going on before the trade deadline, and we've both seen them. We're gonna show you on the screen up here. So the question is, what's the best or most idealistic trade, or you can kind of take this however you want to take it. Which one you're interested in the most? So swipe the first one. We'll look at it.
Quick.
There it is. You're going the wrong way.
That's the one.
So that one is Celtics and Hornets are teams interested in Nikola Vucevic. Vucevic. So that's the first one. All right, you can swipe to the next one. Swipe it. Wow. The Nets, Bucks, Heat, Nuggets, and Lakers are expressing interest in PJ Tucker. That would be the one for me. I wish the Warriors was interested in him, but they're not. All right, swipe to the next one. Jeremy Grant is a top trade target for the Celtics. That's an interesting one if they can get him. And then the last one is Timberwolves have shown interest in John Collins and Aaron Gordon. In that one, I'm still giving my opinion. But so which one of those out of those 4 are you most interested in? Or is most intriguing? Like I said, take it however you want to take it.
Most interested in or intriguing from an immediate impact perspective, I want Nikola Vucevic on the Celtics. I think he is far too quality of a big man to have wasted as much time in Orlando as he has. But I understand you got to get that bag, young man. So he kept re-signing for the bag instead of pursuing a ring.
And the bag he's got.
He's already gotten the bag, and now it's a team that does want that ring. So, the Celtics, you need a better big man down low. And if you are if you're Nikola and his camp, you do want to finally go to a winning place. It's clearly just not working here. So that's mutually beneficial for the both of them. That's what I'm most interested in. I think that helps fill the hole that the Celtics have. That's the biggest like chink in their armor to me. This doesn't help them win immediately, but the other one I really like is the Timberwolves getting John Collins or Aaron Gordon. Just from a young core standpoint, that young talent, you do need to finally find a coach that's going to help. Because the Timberwolves has just been straight trash, straight dog water. But from a perspective of young talent to build around, adding that in with Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards, that sets them up a few years from now for success. But I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing Vucevic end up on a contender. And so one time I'll say I want the Celtics to get him.
Okay.
Jeremy Grant would be nice too. I just don't know. He's not really a big. So how does that dynamic work when you got him, Jaylen Brown?
Though? You don't think he's big?
I mean, he's not like a.
Vucevic's not like a 5 though. Is he 7 feet?
He's a big guy.
Okay.
But Jeremy Grant isn't that much bigger than Tatum or Brown, so I'm just figuring out like what I guess you could just play an athletic small lineup.
Yeah,
Jeremy Grant
could be an athletic 5.
Yeah, Jeremy Grant in that lineup, I wouldn't mind either. But you definitely, if you're the Celtics, you need to get one of them.
They might mess around and try to get both of them because they ain't dire need. I mean, they got pieces. They got a lot of pieces.
They don't give up Kemba. That's what they need to do.
They just they can't do that though because they ain't got no other guard for real. You got Jaylen Brown, but he's not a facilitator. He's a scorer. They
got Marcus Smart guard. Eventually.
No,
he's been out for like
he's
2 months. He's pissing me off. He's on my fantasy team, and you're not that hurt. There's no way. They said like 2 to 4 weeks, and it's been like 8. Come on, bro. Get on back in that lineup. But anyway, yeah, I hope the Celtics make a big move. But like I said, just from an interesting like young talent perspective, it would be cool to see the Timberwolves pull something off. But they're not winning right now, so I don't really care if they get it. It'd just be interesting to see where they go moving forward in the next 3-4 years if they get that.
You ready for your grade?
Yeah, let me get it.
I'm gonna speak to the audience on this one. Y'all ever, been in a class and they kind of accidentally give you the answers to the
You wanted me to say PJ Tucker, but I don't give a damn. PJ Tucker ain't doing nothing.
I just play.
I was trying to be like, bro, come on. Is it nice to have PJ on your team? Damn right. Does it really make a difference?
I said outrightly that
you said you wanted to see the Warriors go for him. So what you want me to say? Well, I'd love to see the Warriors.
Y'all ever had a test where they accidentally give you all the answers?
That's bullshit.
It's just like you just listen and you just
I knew you was going from the moment you
said
it.
Somebody asks a question and they trying to explain it without answering it, but they still answer it. But no, I'll give you Vucevic. You said Vucevic. I'm gonna give you a B because I don't really like. I mean, I'll give you an A.
You don't like Vucevic for the Celtics?
No. I'll give you an A, but I just the least interesting one for me is John Collins. This wasn't really a question to stump you or give you a bad grade. So you gave your opinion. In my opinion, isn't super dwelled or involved. I don't know how a high opinion on this question.
No. Hey, let's highlight that because when I slipped and said dwell instead of delve, you was on my ass. Now you want to throw in dwell in your sentence.
Damn.
Yeah, shut up.
Shut up. Yeah. But that's not what I was trying to say. I don't have a high interest in this question the way I do some other questions that I asked.
That's fair.
So I'm gonna give you an A on this one. Out of the kindness of my heart, could have gave you a B, but I said, what, I'm feeling good this week. I'm gonna give you an A. But the one that least interests me is the John Collins or who's the other one? John Collins or Aaron Gordon to the Timberwolves, and it's because I'm starting to feel iffy about.
My thing is,
I'm feeling iffy about Minnesota, bro.
They're not gonna do shit with it.
It's that Karl Anthony Towns boat or bandwagon or whatever you want to call it, it's going by the wayside. I'm starting to feel like
Anthony Towns already won.
I'm starting to feel like he's the problem.
He don't need no on the court W's. He won off the court.
Did he won a national championship too? Didn't he? I think he did.
I was talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
It's okay.
I know what you're talking about.
He already got his W's. He good for
That's true. But beside that, it's just like, all right, you 20, however now. He's older than us, right?
Barely.
He's older than us. 25, 26. Still young, but it's like, I think the culture down there is just
It's something
not
about the
good
Minnesota
for
culture.
him.
He needs a change.
It don't seem like they work hard. Like I think what Jimmy Butler was saying, I think this is what we kind of started to realize is like
You should have been realizing
with
that
this team that
with
they
your boy
have.
Andrew that you so high on. They suck. And Jimmy tried to tell you.
I mean, I'm high on because he's playing well. He's playing better this
he
season.
sucks.
He don't. I mean, he's not great. He's not number
Okay.
one overall.
Okay, so you admitting
He's not number one overall.
because he.
But he's
'cause he
playing.
sucks.
He's actually one of the better defensive players in the league this
Oh.
year. So
Oh.
I'm giving him credit on that end because you can tell he's trying. Whatever, man.
Carry on.
But
Carry
anyway, it's just like I think it's Karl Anthony Towns. You argue that it was more so Karl Anthony Towns rather than Andrew Wiggins, based off of what
I think
Jimmy
Andrew
Butler
is just
said.
there's a lack of. There's something else there besides not working hard.
That's true, and it could.
Karl
be
Anthony Towns, you have all the tools. You've shown yourself to not be a scrub.
He
There's
almost
still
averaged 30, and then now you just like
There's
you
still
can tell, and maybe it's because he hasn't got that heartbreak, and he's just kind of coasting. He's just content with losing at this
Yeah.
point. He did lose his mother, so I mean,
Yeah,
let's
and then
not
I
try
don't want
to
to go
be
too hard on him.
strong.
He actually
Yeah.
lost a lot of
He
family.
lost a
due to
lot of
COVID.
family members, so
I don't want to go too hard on him.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
But it does come to a certain point. It is a business, and it is your profession. I don't know. And Dame, you see the information with Dame.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of folks, too.
people too. And he's performed. I mean, he's got a better team. Don't get me wrong. I don't even want to compare the two. But so you got those things do come into play, and I don't want to
Yeah.
undermine that. But from a strictly basketball perspective, I feel like you have Anthony Edwards, who's not. I mean, it's his first year, but you've been in the league
Far from a scrub, though.
for a long time,
Yeah.
and it's just like you would like to see. Not, well, I love to see it because we have the pick, so we're going to have a high draft pick. But as a fan of basketball, you would like to see them at least be a middle of a road team. With this
Somewhere
team.
more
They got
competitive.
Ricky Rubio, Josh Okogie's not
But
horrible.
Rubio came out like a week or two ago and said there's just bad habits
Yeah.
there. There's not
Yeah.
winning habits.
Yeah,
Like,
so you
Rubio had been there before.
Yes.
During the Kevin Love and
yes, absolutely. And
Pekovic years.
So I take that. I read that, and it's just like it's something with Minnesota. It's something with the leader on that team. I think at this point, Karl Anthony Towns should be the leader on this team. I think he
Yeah.
played with Devin Booker, right?
Yeah.
Devin Booker. Well, I guess Devin Booker needed Chris Paul at this point, but I think they were in better shape last year,
Yeah.
and they do have D'Angelo Russell as well.
Yeah. That could be a whole nother. That's honestly a whole nother segment for a whole different
It
day.
is.
What's the problem with Minnesota?
It is. But yeah, I mean, so that's why it's just like I don't want to see John Collins being the same.
I don't want to see any more young talent go to
is a
waste.
nice young talent, right? Or Aaron Gordon is less young talent, but
Aaron Gordon would just be doing some more of the same stuff,
Yeah.
losing for no reason.
Aaron Gordon's. We'll see.
Let's get into it, man.
But yeah, so you gonna get that A, but we're gonna move on to the rest
I
of
just
the
want-
show.
For the record, that was his fault.
What was my fault?
I gave my answer. He gave me a grade, and then we started talking about Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh yeah, I
I
just
was
want.
throwing that out there.
Oh no, it's okay.
Coach JT said, "You know what? I need to say something.
Yeah, I
let
want
me,
to,
let
I
me
want to
tell
speak
you
my
something."
piece. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But yeah, you gotta do what you gotta
Hey
do.
man, what about the W?
We're gonna talk about the WNBA now. So big news. As soon as we talked about them last week, talked about this is like the main thing we talked about in the season. We spoke it up basically, and then the very next day, Atlanta Dream is sold. Kelly Loeffler is out the picture.
Who one of the people on the ownership board?
Hold on, you gotta shake that can bottle.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
That bitch be gone, can, you know what I'm saying? We did that thing. Shout out to Atlanta Dream. Look at a round of applause, everybody. Bitch be gone. That's what I'm talking about. Shake your can up.
You are so disrespectful.
Gotta get her up
Be gone.
out of here.
Be gone.
So yeah, they sold it, and then to all people, one of the main people in the investment groups was Renee Montgomery,
I
who
just
we
got
talked
on
about
to her.
last
I was
week.
like, yeah, she just retired. You know, she's not coming back. She said, "Oh, I'm coming back.
Yeah,
I just ain't suiting up." You feel me?
it's exciting, man. It's dope news to see.
Shouts out to that woman, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, and then you gotta throw in. honorable candidate for Petty Betty, my boy LeBron James. He saw you got kicked up out that little spot, and then you wanted to get into something political. He said, "Stick to basketball."
Right.
You know, like they always tell him to do.
Right.
So I love that too. Shout out to the Atlanta Dream.
He should have did the spray can too, man.
You know what I'm saying?
You got sprays every now and then. You don't act like you never felt like you need to spray some of that. Right. Don't get yourself killed, man.
I ain't said nothing.
In other
Before we
WNBA
get into
news,
the team overviews, yeah, let's talk about that draft, man.
Yeah, so they
Big news for
announced a couple days ago, or it might have been today. I seen it today. They announced that the WNBA draft will be live on ESPN for 2 hours, which is pretty dope. Especially when you think the last years or the last few years, it's been simply on ESPN2 for 1 hour, and then the rest of it goes to ESPNU, and none of those channels are watched near as much as ESPN, the main channel. So shout out to ESPN for doing that. I mean, I don't think it's this is them doing this out of sympathy or empathy or anything like that. I think this is just a sign of the sport growing and people growing and gaining interest from it. So
for sure. Yeah, that's big. It's like ESPNU. I don't even know if that is a channel that comes with basic cable.
No, I don't. You definitely gotta pay for it.
Most people don't have ESPNU. ESPN2, you very rarely watch unless you're trying to catch like the reruns of Wake Up and whatever all that is. First take, right? If you're trying to catch the second running of it. Most of the time, nobody pay attention to ESPN2. So for them to finally treat that with the same respect as they would treat the NBA draft or the NFL draft and put that on the flagship channel, this is the one we know everybody got. Wait. Is she not? She's still playing though, right? Oh, no, she's doing... Okay, never mind. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. So, yeah. I think that's really cool. That's what's up. Shout out to the W. Love the progressiveness. But let's get into those team overviews, man. It's time to talk about the Chicago Sky.
Yeah, so last week, again, we talked about the Atlanta Dream. Next team in the alphabetical order of the city name is Chicago Sky. And Chicago Sky probably had the biggest blockbuster deal.
Is it win or bust for them this year? Is it a letdown that they don't win?
No, I honestly, looking at a roster for me, I want to, like, a part of me wants to say, like, they don't look like they have enough to get there. And I explain my reasoning. So they did lose Cheyenne. So they lost, well, the obviously the big name, the blockbuster deals, they got Candace Parker. But they lost Cheyenne Parker.
Yeah.
Who was not the best player on the team.
Pretty damn good.
But one of the best players on the team. Top 4. She's probably the third option on the team. For me, I guess you gotta, in some ways you have to view them as a championship or bust.
Yeah.
Not one of the favorites. I don't know if I view them as one of the favorites, but a championship or bust team because they spent a lot of money on Candace Parker. Well, my thing about it is Candace Parker Candace Parker is not the Candace Parker that we know of old. Yes, she's probably the most popular WNBA player in the league. For the most, I would say she's if not number one, she's top 3. One of top 3 most famous players in the league. But her numbers aren't that of what they was when she was winning championships. So it's like, and she's also older.
Yeah.
So I'm playing that into account. So it's like, yeah, because they signed her to a decent contract, it is kind of championship or bust. But if you actually look, for me, in my opinion, if I'm looking at their roster, they don't have enough unless a couple pieces step up. And one of the pieces that I'm specifically talking about is going to be Gabby Williams. But we can get to that.
It's just
you want to go over the roster?
Yeah, let's pull the roster up. Like you said, they lost a couple pieces, but they've been They've been pretty busy as far as getting new additions and everything.
Yeah, they have been busy this year,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm saying in that aspect they are. It's kind of like a champion. It seems like championship or bust kind of has that kind of feeling to it.
Yeah. I mean, just going back to last year, we obviously had a shortened season for them. They came out just sliding right above 500. They were 12-10 on the year, and I think they had a rocky last couple seasons.
They won their division last year, though.
They've had like some losing seasons in recent years, but they've been on an upward trend. So I think you do kind of see them making these moves and going out and getting Candace Parker.
Yeah.
Like you have to see this as like you're finally shooting for it. Like you have to be swinging for the fence at this point.
I give you that.
know?
They do. I mean, they do. Don't get me wrong. They have pieces. They got Allie Quigley, who's one of the top players in the league.
Yeah.
Courtney Vandersloot was one of the top players in the league.
Yeah.
And then you add that, you couple that with Candace Parker, who is obviously the biggest name again in the league, one of the biggest names in the league. And then, so what I was talking about is Gabby Williams, and I'm going to pull up her real quick. Last season, Gabby Williams averaged 7 points. She's a guard. 7 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. So I feel like if she can step up, I think she's not a rookie. She wasn't a rookie last year. I don't know if she was a rookie last year, but she's only 23 years old. She's the youngest of the core. She's the youngest. And I feel like if she's able to step up, and she's in her going into her third year. She's going into her third year, so if she can take a leap, I think she's gonna be like the X factor of this team. Just looking at the roster, because you know what you're gonna get from Quigley and Vandersloot, and you also have Kalia Copper, who averaged 15 points last year. So I mean, you got her too, so that kind of makes it different. But I feel like when you look at this, Cheyenne Parker averaged almost. She averaged 13 last season.
13 and
Candace
6.
Parker averaged almost 15. So it's not a huge difference.
They still have Stevens this year coming in, right?
Yes, they do have
Stevens. That's another 12 and 6. Really, it seems like the backcourt is. I mean, it's pretty fine in between Copper's playmaking, and then the scoring is there between. I mean, Vandersloot's playmaking.
10 assists last year. So
that's 14 and 10 for her. But you got Quigley and Copper coming in, making consistent contributions as far as scoring goes. But you really just gotta hope that front court really does. Candace Parker, you hope that she's still gonna come in playing like Candace Parker.
And she's been on her way back. Last season was better than the previous season, so she's slowly been working. In the last 2 seasons, she's been getting better. But she's still not averaging 20 points like she used to. You know what I mean? But so that's why I'm saying if Gabby Williams or maybe even like a Diamond DeShields, Stephanie Dawson, if those players can make a not huge,
it doesn't have to be leaps and bounds, but if like they can, small step up.
If they can make a step up, then I would be like, okay, this is a team that we're gonna have to worry about. So it's just gonna be, and we also I don't know what draft pick they have. I forgot to look at that, but they also still are going to be adding a draft pick to the team, obviously. So we'll see. Like I said, championship or bust because of that's kind of how it feels. That's
I feel like y'all retooling for the this is the year we're going for it.
So if not this year, then next year, because they got Candace Parker for a couple years.
I wouldn't even put the pressure on them of getting the championship, but you better look damn good this year.
Oh yeah, you have to.
You have to.
When you have to be convincing. Like Candace Parker, you gotta look good.
Yeah, you have to be convincing of. We might have to watch out for them. Don't get in here and be mediocre or barely be above 500 again, like not really, you know what I'm saying? Or like they went on a skid in the bubble. Yeah. So
they were doing well, and then they lost like 4 or 5 in a row.
They lost like the last 5, 6. Yeah. So if you're gonna swing for the fences like this, you're gonna make that big play and spending the money on Candace Parker. Look convincing. Don't do that. That's like the Nets doing the moves that they did. You're trying to get these big name players.
And then they out in the first round.
Right.
That would be that would be horrible.
Don't be Giannis, essentially. But I got Chicago. I gotta.
That's your team this year. You going with them?
I don't want to do that.
They got the hometown grill.
I can't do that. And that's a nice story too. Candace Parker going back to play at home. But I still gotta keep all my cards on that Aces team.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like, do you see this team? Do you see this team competing with Sue Bird, Brianna Stewart, and
That's a whole nother.
Seattle. What's Seattle?
The newest one they
Storm.
just,
Seattle Storm.
Yeah, Seattle Storm.
And then can they compete with all the bodies that they got in Las Vegas with the Aces? Like,
Man, the Aces and the Storm, and we'll get into
that's
to
the
them.
that's the only thing when I look at this team, I'm like, I don't know if they could compete with the Aces right now, even with Candace Parker, because Brianna Stewart has continued to prove that she's the best player in the league, and then you got this young whippersnapper and what's her
Vegas.
name? In Vegas. Damn, what's her name? Oh my God. Drawing a blank on her name. Asia. Thank you.
And I don't know why. It was like right here, and I was like, dang, what is it? Yeah. I don't know. That's why we're getting into them later, aside from the fact it's alphabetical. But Seattle and Las Vegas, that's a different type of, you know what I'm saying?
It's like, dang, you making this move, but this move making you good enough. If this
It's
was Candace
improving
Parker
you.
of old, then we'd be like, okay.
Even then, it's an improvement, but is
Yeah.
it enough?
Yeah, that's
So,
why
like,
it's tough.
time will
That's
tell.
why it's tough to say it's championship or bust.
Yeah.
That's what I meant when I'm like, when I
Yeah.
look at this team, I don't really see that.
That's why I say you at least got to look convincing, you know.
Yeah.
Don't go out sad. If you still lose to either one of those teams, it makes sense, but don't go out sad. Let's get into the NBA, though.
Yeah, going over to the NBA. So obviously the All-Star game is this weekend. Whether you decide to watch it or not, it's up
When
to
is
you.
the trade deadline?
I have no idea. Let's look it up.
And I'm sorry, I know that's not necessarily the topic at hand, but you know they moved it to be before All-Star weekend after DeMarcus Cousins got traded during the All-Star game or like after the All-Star game.
25th.
So I don't know. I just
Wait,
find it
it's a
weird
couple
that
weeks from now.
this year
It's March 25th.
you would throw the All-Star game in there, but then still have the All-Star or the trade deadline after the fact because you initially have gone back to make sure that that isn't the case anymore. But anyway, I was just curious about that, especially because we were talking about trades the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, let's get into the lineups. You know they were doing the draft earlier. The draft should be finished
Yeah.
at this point.
I look up.
I know the number one picks. LeBron picked Giannis. LeBron is one of those people. He's going to pick the best available player.
Got to.
And occasionally do some tampering. But he went ahead and picked Giannis. No tampering here because Giannis is off the board for the next 5 years. And then KD stuck with his squad, and he picked Kyrie with his number one pick.
They just keep showing the rosters. Oh, let's see. Okay, here we go. So starters in the for Team Durant, you got Brad Beal, Embiid, Kyrie, Leonard, and Tatum. Was that right?
Yeah, because, you know, KD isn't actually playing.
Oh, yeah.
Tatum is taking his spot as a starter. He stepped up from being a reserve to a starter.
Gotcha.
Sabonis took his spot as a reserve.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's the East. All right, that's Team Durant, and then LeBron's got Giannis, Steph, Luka, himself, and Jokic. So who you like in between these two?
I like the playmaking of Team LeBron is kind of scary. You got, first of all,
4 point guards.
You got 4 point guards. You got Steph, Luka, Brian, and Jokic.
Really
out
4.5 because
Giannis is playing point
handles
guard.
the ball so much.
You know,
He might as well be a point guard.
in between the pick and roll options, the lob options, and even shooting. I mean, like LeBron isn't an amazing shooter. Jokic is pretty decent shooter. Luka is pretty decent. Steph is Steph. You got some shooting on that team and some versatility there as far as like the things that they all bring to the table that is kind of hard to match. But Team KD, man, there's some buckets over there.
Yeah.
And
KD's gonna miss. KD gonna miss KD, but
yeah,
they still
having Tatum out there and Kawhi. Well, first of all, Kawhi is just his defensive presence along with Embiid. But Embiid is MVP of the league this year. He's going crazy.
30,
Kyrie and Beal is your backcourt. That's straight buckets.
Yeah.
Not a lot of defense, but it's the All-Star game. So it's not like you really need a whole bunch up until that last, 24-point run. And then coming off the bench for Team Durant, got Devin Booker, again sticking with his squad. He got James Harden, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle, Nikola Vucevic, and Zion. Coming off the bench for Team LeBron, Jaylen Brown, Paul George. Why'd you pick Rudy?
Stop it. Rudy Gobert. Dame.
Why is he an All-Star?
He's
bro?
here now.
Why is he an All-Star?
There's no reason to argue. He's here. He's good.
What does Rudy Gobert do that neither of us could do if we were 7 feet? He does less than the average person at 7 feet could probably do. Anyway, Damian Lillard, Domantas Sabonis, Ben Simmons. He looked like a felon in that picture.
Who?
Ben Simmons. Look at him. There's something off here. And of course, he got his boy Chris Paul on the squad too. So, which team overall do you think just looks better on paper?
On paper, I'm rolling with Team Durant.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I gotta go Team Brian.
Team Brian. No, I'm going with Team Durant. Team Durant. Brian got.
Team Brian is kind of small.
Brian got Rudy Gobert on that team. You ever had a team where they good, but they best like their big man is trash? It's like, bro, we can beat them.
That's fair.
We can beat them. All we gotta do is score with the big man.
Cause he can't hold nobody.
He can't guard nobody. He's self-check. He's always a mismatch. I'm not calling Gobert a mismatch.
We'll get into later.
And I'm just
why
joking.
He's a mismatch.
I'm just joking for the most part. But
I'm 100% serious.
No, I'm joking.
That man is dog water.
I'm joking. I'm not gonna call anybody in the All-Star dog water. But
dog water. Don't care.
But anyway, yeah, I'm going with Team KD. They got a lot of the young. He got all of the first time All-Stars except Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, he got all the babies.
Mm-hmm. And I like that. I'm going with that. Shout out. Got Zion. This is his first time All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't make it last year.
Mm-hmm.
You got
Julius
Randle,
Zach
LaVine, Donovan Mitchell's only second, and you got Devin Booker's only second. So, and this is, So, I'm going with Team KD. Not saying they're gonna win. I think Team LeBron's gonna win. They missing KD. Like, think if Team KD had KD on the team.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. Team LeBron is a hell of a GM.
I wonder how they did that though, because if he wasn't, because he only got 4 picks in the starters, because you picked the starters first. So did KD get that extra pick in the starters? Does that make sense? Because he can't pick himself.
Right. I see.
He must have got 2 picks in a row at some point.
Yeah. Probably. And unfortunately, that was kind of going on while we were setting up, so we couldn't really see how it played out. Yeah. LeBron is a hell of a GM. Every year around this time, he is already kind of gone over who's going where, who's coming here.
He's a future owner, so he uses logic.
And every summer, he's looking at who's available, going to the front office like, hey, you better make this. Hey, let me tell you something.
I picked him on my All-Star team for a reason.
Y'all better. I told you just a little tampering at Bay. He picked Lillard. A couple years ago, he said, give me Dame. I'll show you how underappreciated he is. There's some tampering going on with LeBron draft. So just know you better make it happen. Dang. Boy,
we got to take it off Twitter. We be watching these Twitter videos.
Anyway, moving on from the All-Star lineups. Well, real quick, we'll get into it when we get back. Let's just throw it to a commercial from our sponsors. Oh.
Back on the air, huh?
Yeah. Whenever the people aren't doing their jobs.
Y'all funny. Anyway, shout out to Taylor Gents, man, allowing us to have his space.
Bullshit.
Please visit him and contact him for any of your custom tailor needs, custom suit needs. He got anything you want and need.
Yeah.
Y'all see this little, you can see this a little bit over here, man. It's fly.
Quality.
It's fresh. It's going to
Quality.
fit you good. It's quality. You get you ties straight from Italy.
Just like Jaren Sweater. If you know, you know. Also, swatches galore, shoes galore, ties galore, man. Come holler at Daryl. He'll get you right.
For sure.
Just real quick before we got into our next topic. Also, just wanted to ask you real quick, how did you feel about the the crunch time All-Star weekend. Everything is happening like on Sunday, and then the dunk contest is the halftime show.
Oh, is that how they doing it?
Yeah.
I was wondering because I saw that was talking about the
It was
idea
like Sunday
of like
Sunday,
halftime
Sunday.
dunk contest, which Jalen Rose made a good point to why Zion is not in the dunk contest because it's like he's gonna be in the All-Star game, then you want him to do the dunk contest in the halftime, then All-Star.
Oh right, well
That's
yeah,
a lot
when it being
for somebody
set up like that.
That's
yeah.
a lot for somebody who's
If it was
already
two
out of
different
shape.
days.
He already out of shape. He not in the greatest of shape. He kind of got injury concerns, like completely.
Yeah, halftime is
for
supposed to be a little
Zion.
chill break, and you going straight into another event.
So that would be a lot.
Yeah.
So I give Jalen Rose made a good point on that. And then yeah, so they're not doing the Saturday night at activities at all.
No,
It's all on
no
Sunday.
Saturday. It's all Sunday.
I mean, it's cool. It's just gonna
All
happen
Sunday.
in all one
Yeah.
day. I guess it'll kind of give me a reason to watch it all. Cause sometimes, like a lot of times, I'll watch the Saturday events, but don't watch the All-Star game.
Yeah.
If they put it in one show, and it could potentially change it for the future. But as far not the all dunk contest at halftime though.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that'd be
It's kind of
that'd
weird to
be
just
cool.
crunch it all together.
It is weird, but that won't be.
And I just feel like this year, like I don't care as much. But going into the Atlanta Hawks, they have fired their coach, which I think was a great move. The Hawks are
A great move to fire a black man. I would never say something.
well. The Hawks definitely need a change. I think going into this season, right? Like if you look at some of the players they went out and got, you got Rondo, you got Gallinari, you got Bogdanovich.
He did get Bogdanovich.
So you got some quality additions.
Bogdanovich. Is he doing anything?
As a team, they're not doing anything. You went out and got some quality additions, but y'all like aren't looking as good as you would have expected them to on paper.
I don't know about that, man. They only 16 and 20. Like, give them a year. Jesus Christ. Trae Young's still young. Rondo, I mean, did they sign these players? They didn't sign any of these players to a one-year deal. Like,
I'm just saying.
I think you just gotta be realistic sometimes. They're in the.
I'm not saying I
like,
expected them to come out
look
20
at-
and 12 or nothing like that, but
Look at the entire league, though. Like, they're 3 games. If we're looking at
the
standings,
Raptors have hot past y'all.
listen, they're 3 games out of 4th place in the East. You gotta be realistic. Like, you 3 games, you know how quickly you can catch up. 3 games.
You know how many times they got their ass whooped this year?
Okay, I mean, don't get me wrong. I get it. You
So
want
what were
them
they
to be
last
better.
year? What were they last year?
You want them to be better as a team. You sign all these players, you expect more. But a lot of teams are struggling this season. Like a lot of teams to fire your coach 3 games out of 4th place. I don't care where you are physically in the standings. 20 and 47 last year. You telling me they're not gonna win 20 games this year with 10 less games? They definitely. So they improved. I think that's way too premature. That's way too premature.
But I mean, if there's clearly
And then
some
you got this whole-
dysfunctionality going on,
maybe if that's the case, but I don't know about any of that. So if he lost the locker room, they didn't report that. So there's no way of me knowing. Or maybe I shouldn't even say they didn't report it. I didn't look.
yeah.
But really, I honestly, I promise you, I just looked up the standings right now, and to see that and to say they fired their coach on a season like this, like, come on, that's a little.
I will
aggressive.
just say,
They're like, and then to say their actual seeding in the playoffs right now, they're still in the 7-11
they're
play
close.
in for the playoffs
They're
because they
close.
could. Where if the playoffs started today, they would still be in the play in game.
Only thing I can say is
That's tough.
with their
That's
roster,
tough.
I would feel like they shouldn't have started off as bad. I'm not saying they should have been like top 4 seed already, but you would think that they would have been a little better. But also, some of the games they've lost have been like losses. It's not like it came down to a possession or two. Like they've had some real stinkers.
But you can have off nights.
So, but it's been more off than on this year.
I'm not.
So I can see
you
why.
can't- you can, I
And
don't
the
think-
locker room stuff we can't really speak on. We're not in the locker room.
Yeah.
But you don't know what's playing on behind closed doors that
That's
might
fair.
have also fed into
That's
it.
fair. That's fair.
Clearly there's some sort of disconnect. We're not winning games. The games we are winning, we're pulling out by 2-3 points. And the games we're losing, most of the time, we lose by 10 or more. So at some point, maybe some adjustment has to be made.
I guess.
So
I
I
don't
guess
know if you do
time
it
will
in the
tell.
middle of the season though.
Time will tell if that adjustment
They got
really
16
does make a
wins this
difference.
season. They only had 20 last year. They got half a season left. Like, I think if just looking off based off that, that's a little aggressive to fire him.
We'll
this early
see.
in the season.
We'll see. Nate McMillan is supposed to fill in until they find somebody
Yeah, I
else.
mean,
so another black man.
I like naming him. So it's not a black. Well, it is kind of a black-white thing because he's black. I don't think if a white coach was in this situation, he would have been fired.
Timberwolves coach got fired.
They're the worst in the league. We just talked about the Timberwolves. That's completely
It's a
different.
white man that got fired.
And he's been a coach for I don't know how long this
A
coach has been
year.
in the team.
A year and some
But
change.
that's
Flip Saunders.
Philip Saunders' son. He's been a coach with them for a while.
Yeah, I was more so just playing devil's advocate.
I got you, but I just think that's a little aggressive to fire him, especially this season with like a COVID season. A lot of the teams are struggling. Like, look at Celtics. Like, you think they're gonna fire Brad Stevens? That's a good example. Do you think they're gonna fire Brad Stevens? How long you been there and they're not good?
Brad ain't the one that should be fired. To me, Danny is the one that needed to be
Exactly.
out of there.
Okay, so you're gonna blame?
Because from a coaching standpoint, he's clearly a hell of a coach, but like,
Yeah, but obviously you're not doing a good job. They ain't won no championship, and then they doing 500. Just like that, I think that's a great example. Like that's crazy. Hawks have gotten better, but anyway, speaking of white coaches,
Doug
Creighton,
McDermott's daddy.
Creighton's head coach, who doubles as Doug McDermott's Faja.
Who doubles ass? That's my part-time gig. I'm somebody's daddy, but for the most part, I'm a coach.
He made some comments during a post-game speech to his players.
Want me to read the quote?
Go ahead, read the quote, because it's something kind of crazy.
Guys, we got to stick together. We need both feet in. I need everybody to stay on the plantation. I can't have anybody leave the plantation.
Now that you read that, like, I read it, but now that you read it, like, what the hell are you talking about? Why say, like, of all things,
That was my issue with it.
of all things,
I'm not
you
even
say
going
that,
to
like,
immediately say that you had malicious intentions when
Right,
saying it, but
right.
what made you think that using the plantation as the figure of speech here was not the court,
It just makes you wonder,
not
like,
the ship?
he's it makes you feel like he said that before, to say it like that, and it also makes you feel like that he says that regularly, like,
Or something along
or
those lines.
like his family says.
Most
that
people don't
regularly.
even think to say plantation. And if they think of that word, they immediately think, and back off.
Not even. I mean,
Plantation
you
is
see-
kind of like a
if you
taboo
see
term to me.
yeah, but if you see a plantation, like, I feel like, listen, if you drive down to Georgia, you're gonna see some plantations.
But still, what would
Guaranteed.
make
You see the cotton right off the highway. It's just
I
like,
just don't know what would
it's
make
eerie,
you think to say.
but first of all, Creighton is in what, Iowa?
Yeah,
It's weird. It is weird.
it's weird. Like, what made you think to use plantation?
You could
Like I said,
say,
I'm not-
like, I think the modern way to say it would be like farmland or.
Even then, I would have felt weird about that. Like,
I
stay on the
would.
farm.
I would.
That's why I
I
said
would.
the ship or the court. I need everybody to stay on the
But
ship.
you can say
I can't
the
have
thing with
nobody
the ship.
jumping.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
But I think like jump ship, right? He said I can't have nobody. Okay, well,
you can't say this jump shit.
okay, well, stay your ass on the court. You should have just said court and been done with it.
Stay your ass within the team. Stay your ass on the program. It's like a million ways to say this
Was
phrase.
slavery not a program, my brother? No,
Right.
so
So
anyway,
you can twist a bunch of different words, but to say that one specifically,
You know,
it's just like.
and I'm not gonna attack his
who
character.
talks like that?
I'm
in
not gonna attack his
2021?
character because I don't know that man. But clearly, he must be a decent enough man aside from just a coach, because he went to his team and asked them if they wanted him to resign, and apparently they were like, "You good with us, coach?"
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure, but it might have been some of the players were like, "Hell yeah, I want you to go."
But
But a majority of players was like, "You know, he's not that bad."
and that's what I'm saying. Those people know his character. Those people spend more time with him. So from the outside looking in, we might hear that quote and be like,
I don't
Hey,
know.
yo.
I don't know if that's 100% true though, because I feel like you've worked with people that you like. Well, I have, but you get along with them enough. It's just like, and they don't do anything to you.
I'll say I just acknowledge like the way he handled it, because a lot of people really just either deny, or they just step down and walk away without
That's
ever really
true.
confronting it.
That's true.
But the fact that he
His players
on
had
record
his
has had this conversation and his players were willing to back him, the way he handled it, I will say I appreciate.
Yeah.
The next time, just don't use the plantation. Don't
be
ever
stupid.
take that out your vocabulary. Like,
That's
don't even
that's
think
my
to
own
use
thing.
that.
It's like obviously that's in his vocabulary.
Yeah.
But why is that in your vocabulary? That's the only thing that makes me
For
question
what reason are you using?
you as a person. Not even necessarily that you said it. It's just the fact that that's in your vocabulary.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like a slip of the tongue. Like you said it.
Just strange, quite frankly.
Awkward.
Moving on, man.
Man, we're already a petty
Oh
baby
yeah,
of the
we
week.
there. We there.
Moving on.
Let me pull it up real quick.
Are you sure you pulling it up or not?
No, I gotta find it.
Okay.
I just had to look for it.
I don't think you was looking for that. You was looking for something.
So anyway, this week's Petty Betty is my MVP. None other than JoJo Trust the Process.
Oh yeah, shout out to Joe. He
Uh,
hooping this year. That's what happened when you get heartbreak in the NBA.
you know,
As
he done had enough.
Shout out to Jalen Rose making that pointing that out to me.
He gets hard, bro.
Luka ain't got that yet. He gonna once he get that, he gonna get it.
And you gotta think about this
Zion.
too. Luka is hard on himself for little stupid stuff like I missed the shot to end the second quarter, and he be mad as hell. Once he
cares?
really faces like
Yeah.
something like that, you
Once
know
he
he
gets-
gonna turn up.
Once he get caught crying on TV like Joel, like we see.
Joel was going out sad.
We
He was
see
in
where
the
this
tunnel
coming
like
from
this.
now, Joe.
I don't
We
know.
know why.
Not all the time though. I watched Kevin Durant cry after the NBA made a conspiracy to let LeBron win his first ring, and well, then after that we got cursed with injuries in OKC, so we never got to see how it really affected him. But crying on TV can impact your basketball career.
100%.
Anyway, Joel Embiid, man, last night they played the 76ers. Just real quick, let me tell you what Joel Embiid put up against. I mean, they played the Jazz. I'm sorry. Let me just read you this box score. Joel Embiid, Rudy Gobert is a what now?
He's an all-star.
An all-star and a former two-time Defensive Player of the Year. I constantly talk shit about him for getting shitted on by Russell Westbrook on a nightly
I mean,
basis.
if you 7 foot, you can block a 6-footer's jumper. I could.
Right. He can't, clearly. And also gets dunked on by them, especially if their name is Westbrook. But whenever he met somebody his own size, you know what Joel Embiid made of him? Joel went out there and got 40 points, 19 boards, 3 assists, 2 blocks.
That's barbecue chicken.
Rudy Gobert, what were you doing last night? You might as well have been sitting at home like me.
That's barbecue chicken, bro.
You wasn't doing nothing. So what's funny is a few weeks ago, a reporter for the 76ers kind of insinuated that Joel was ducking smoke because he asked basically like Joel Embiid seems to sit out games that have.
Rudy. Oh, I think
That have
I actually
dominant
remember
bigs.
when he reported. Yeah.
So Doc Rivers was like, well, what you trying to say? Like, that's a real
Yeah,
pointed question.
yeah, I do
You know,
remember that.
so Joel said in his interview last night, as we saw tonight, it looks like I was very, very scared of him. So keep talking.
Yeah, that's a good page. Yeah.
You know, I just dropped 40
You gotta-
and
you gotta
40 and 20 on this man's head.
That's just like it's not as good as a Dame, but it's just like a
Yeah, when
Dame.
he's- Nah, what was you saying? Who's a better backcourt? Because on Twitter you said that they was better than us. But I did like that. You know, you tried to throw that in there real sly a couple of weeks ago. And clearly, Joel is petty because he held on to that. He probably circled on his calendar.
Yeah,
Next time he play the
absolutely.
Jazz, I'm finna do his ass. And then I'm finna remember that you said
Joel
that.
Embiid is a poor man Shaq when it comes to being petty. I feel
Oh,
like.
he's swinging for the big leagues here. By the end of his career, he'll be up there in the Petty Hall of Fame for sure.
Yeah. But that's gonna do it for Petty Betty of the Week. It's time for the last segment, speaking or shouting. So are you speaking or shouting this week?
Dang.
You see how I beat you to it? I didn't want you to come to me first.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
I
Life comes at you
jumped on it,
fast.
boy.
Life
Jumped
comes at
on
you
it.
fast.
I'm trying to get caught up like you getting caught up. I got one, by the way.
So why didn't you go?
Cause I got one. Yeah, I'm putting up. I got one though. Go ahead. Speaking of show, I asked first.
Okay. I this week would like to speak on. I got a new job.
Yeah.
I'm not really happy about it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm happy. First of all, to quit my job in the midst of a Pangea, go find part-time work a few weeks after, then walk into a full-time position in the course of 2 to 3 months. That's huge. Because to quit your job is kind of stupid. A lot of people got fired during the pandemic and had a hard time getting jobs. I was able to quit a job and pick up 2 jobs. So for that, I am happy. My job is downtown. If you're familiar with the St. Louis area, my job is on Market. Monday through Friday, to have to drive down to Market, deal with the traffic to and from work. I'm not looking forward to. I'm trying to be optimistic about it. First of all, the job, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not really excited about the job. I'm not fully sure what I'm doing there yet. The pay isn't what I wanted, but I'm gonna just kind of feel it out. And I also didn't want to say no and then risk sitting at home until April, still waiting for another job. So I'm happy. I'm proud of myself.
You can take the Metro Link.
Did you just call me poor, bro?
No, say gas.
No, but did you just call me poor?
Avoid traffic, avoid parking issues.
So I guess I gotta keep that thing on me too.
No, Metro Link is okay. Sometimes. If you going in the middle at the beginning, you think people gonna be having issues? You almost, I don't even want to say N-word. You almost got me saying N-word. But them people that you worry about, they ain't gonna be on no damn train at 8 o'clock in the morning.
It's probably a couple cluckheads, but I really wouldn't be worried about the safety aspect.
Man, we used to ride the Metro Link to Illinois faithfully at nighttime. We'd be alright.
You built different.
We was kids though, so they
you
probably
built
wouldn't.
different.
They probably wouldn't. I'm not built different. You know me.
No, I'm pussy.
Yeah, I ain't saying all that.
I'm just looking at you.
County bred, just like you.
You know I'm a no baby.
Straight from the county.
Hey.
I'm city now though. I've been in the city too long. I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I'm straight.
You got it like that.
I seen y'all. Everybody was talking about the gunshots in Florida last
I missed
night.
it. I don't know.
I was like, it's just gunshots. Like, relax, y'all. Just imagine.
That's my alarm clock.
Just imagine if people in the city was like, went to Twitter every time they heard gunshots. Like, we heard gunshots.
It's funny. I was talking about the other day. Like, I've lately been having trouble sleeping before like 2 or 3. Like, I just can't go to sleep. And, you listen to stuff like waves crashing or like people reading stories or like fireplaces. In the city, they go to sleep to gunshots.
In trains.
Really? You be like, damn, they laying off out there. And then just be like,
well.
I don't think I do have concern is like if they doing it shooting it in the air, I'd be like, oh, I hope it don't come through my feelings.
Right.
But
Wake up dead.
So.
No, black folks like to say that. Woke up dead.
Right.
Anyway, man, what you speaking of shouting on? Truth be told, I had something different. I just forgot what it was. So
you did. I ain't even thinking of this bigger shot about. So I
got something.
I was just
bullshit.
Yeah.
Love on your lady, man. Hug her. Show her.
Go to hell. Do that always. But I want to keep it strictly sports today, and I'm going to be speaking about Let me say strictly.
No. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking strictly. I was just thinking about that. Not thinking about it, but think about the song.
Bro, go. No, just go. You're not making this better.
Think about the song. Anyway, I guess I can speak on the Cardinals. They had the news that they're gonna be allowing fans in the stadium. You like we going to take a game this year?
I'll go to a game for sure.
All right, we're gonna go to the game this year. They're allowing fans into the stadium. We're gonna sit in the nosebleeds.
Yes, sir.
Cardinals looking good, man.
I'm
I'm positive about the team this year. Got Nolan Arenado. Boy is a bucket. Hey,
explain that to me in basketball terms.
He can rake. He's a bucket. That is basketball terms.
No, but like a basketball equivalent. How big of an impact is he?
Oh, he's like best player at his position.
Okay. I'll take that.
He's like a
I just had to hit you with a quick. What do you mean by that?
yeah.
Because I don't know shit
Yeah, he's
about
a bucket.
baseball.
So excited about that. Excited about our pitcher rotation. Spring training is going on.
So anyway, we appreciate y'all coming out this
for
week.
real. Yeah, appreciate y'all. Go Cardinals.
Oh wait.
And we'll see y'all next week.
No. Okay, wait, real quick. Is it too late? It's too late. I wanted to shout out the NBA real quick. I sent you a picture of the game at the court for the All-Star game.
Oh, yeah.
It's inspired in collaboration with different HBCUs to highlight the different academic as well as extracurricular things that go on with HBCU. Like they got a drum major out there on the court. They got somebody with their cap and gown and like music notes and stuff like that on the court. So I just thought that was huge. I mean, if you're in Atlanta, that's kind of something I feel like you naturally would have to incorporate.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that was real big on the NBA's part to include that in the All-Star game. The jerseys are trash, but at least the court is
I
tough.
still ain't seen the dress, but shout out LeBron James too. Look like he might be sponsoring FAMU. That's something I wanted to talk about. I guess I kind of want to do that. Speaking of shout, it's gonna be that's gonna be dope to see if these players, LeBron kind of leading the way with this. But no, Chris Paul kind of
He had the shoes
He
last
had the
year.
shoes first. But that's gonna be dope to see if they actually start sponsoring these teams. Steph did it with the golf team too.
Yeah.
If they start sponsoring these teams and we start actually seeing top prospects go to HBCUs, that's
That
gonna
would be tough.
major, a major kind of power shift. So
Yeah.
that's dope. That's my speaking of show.
Catch y'all next week, young blood.